Hello, people? Hi, are we here? Hello, hope you are doing well, and today we'll be recounting modern airship development from the year of 2025. I feel like in addition to historical airship content, I should also discuss some modern developments, and as it turns out, a lot has happened in the past year in the world of airship development. So yeah, we'll be explaining that today, what has been done, what they're trying to do, what they might do in the future, yada yada. This video is meant merely to explain these things simply, their design and engineering and whatnot. To clarify, this video is not financial advice on who to invest in or something like that. Just felt I should make that clear. So yeah, a lot has happened and we'll be trying to recount major developments in this video. If you want more info, pretty much all of the sources will be listed in the description. Anyways, let's begin! So probably the biggest news in the airship world this year, and in part the reason this video exists, is that this year LTA Research's Pathfinder 1 began flight testing in Mountain View, California. LTA Research is funded by Google co-founder Sergey Brin. Their goals are admittedly not precise, but generally are disaster relief and passenger and cargo transport of some kind. In any case, their prototype Pathfinder 1, one of the first proper rigid airships in several decades, has been undergoing main flight tests this year. The Pathfinder 1 was built in Hangar 1 at Moffett Field and appears to have been completed in 2023 and had its first free flight in October of last year. In any case, starting in early May, it started to make more frequent test flights and soon managed the first proper flight over the Bay Area. Over the summer, it was put back in the hangar for certification and testing resumed in mid-September. This all seemed to culminate on October 28th when it flew over the Golden Gate Bridge in what probably felt very rewarding for those involved. You've probably heard about this as it made in the news and all. Since then, its flight testing has continued throughout the rest of the year. Also, if you're curious, you can track the ship on sites like FlightAware and Flight Radar. Its tail number is N125LT. So, I think I should also explain some things about the Pathfinder 1. This ship is 400 feet long and 66 feet in diameter, making it currently the largest aircraft in the world, albeit also very small compared to many Zeppelins of the olden days. Something very important to note is it's a prototype. This is not a production model, it's just a testbed basically, so that's why the performance characteristics may not be ideal. A larger Pathfinder 3, supposedly 600 feet long with a 20-ton payload and 10,000 mile range, is being built in the Akron Air Dock in Ohio, or will be soon. Supposedly an even larger 1,000 foot long airship with a 200-ton payload, referred to as the Next Generation Airship, or Big Bird, is also on the drawing board. These are likely years away, but progress is happening it seems. Apparently you can do a lot in this world with billionaire funding that kind of sucks, but at least from what I can tell, LTA Research is not a typical tech bro scam or whatever, and is being done by people who generally seem to know what they're doing. Next on the list is another large airship project, hailing from France this time, Flying Whales. They're trying to develop a 200-meter long, 60-ton capacity airship mainly intended to handle outsized cargo, and have managed to secure funding from the French government somehow. This year they managed to finalize plans to set up a manufacturing plant in Aeroscraft, France, a small commune about 25 miles from Bordeaux, overcoming various issues in solidifying the plan. In December they received the green light. Workforce recruitment has already started and construction will hopefully start early 2026. The LCA 60T, it's important to note, is mainly optimized for handling wind turbine blades and other such things. It's intended largely as a replacement for many cargo helicopters. You could arguably just view this thing as a cargo helicopter with an unusually large payload and size. It also boasts 32 engines, of which like 20 are used just to stabilize it in crosswinds. So it's not good for all tasks, just keep that in mind. Hybrid Air Vehicles has continued working on the manufacturing plant in Doncaster and been seeking more funding for their Airlander 10 hybrid airship project. Some interest in it has even been seen from the US military this year. However, it is still stuck in development and certification hell it seems, ever since the prototype crashed by now several years ago. Weird how we haven't heard more of it, but they're trying. They expect more interest in it to follow from various military contractors. Aeroscraft is another interesting company who has for many years been trying to develop and certify a variable buoyancy airship. They got a prototype flying in 2013, but it was destroyed in a few weeks after a hangar collapse. Apparently they're still at it though, and recently announced plans to start trying to certify a drone delivery system using one of their non-rigids, which they intend to implement in the greater LA area in part to get support and funding for their larger ambitions. Honestly, it's debatable how useful this is, but I mean, LA can get congested at times, and this does solve some of the problems with drone delivery, but only some. Aeroscraft probably deserves a much longer video explaining their story, which turns out to be extremely complicated and strange, and I won't go into detail now. But yeah, my thoughts on this idea are kinda complicated, but it'll still be interesting to see how it plays out in any case. Anyways, there has been some other less major news. In September, China rolled out this flying wind turbine airship known as the S-1500, made by Solace Energy Technology Co. in Beijing. This is a 200-foot long helium-filled wind turbine intending to deliver electric power from winds that it floats up in. Winds can be stronger higher up, so it makes sense to have the turbine higher up, supplying power down to the ground. The main intention is to use this for disaster relief, where it could be easily deployed for supplying power to a disaster site. It's intended to operate at altitudes of up to 1,500 meters. Previously, they also developed a smaller prior model in January known as the S-1000 and a still smaller S-500 last year, intended to operate at somewhat lower altitudes. In addition to the wind turbines, recently China has been developing the more conventional AS-700 blimp, which is intended mainly for low altitude tourism. What's interesting is that in October they received 18 orders for the thing. As far as I know, this is the most orders any modern manned airship has ever received. It's commonly stated that only 25 or so blimps would remain, and this would make that amount considerably larger if they were all built. An electric version of the ship, the AS-700D, also first flew in February. Note that these orders were not for the electric version. The Goodyear blimp turned 100 in June. That was kind of neat, with the flyover celebration done. Not a ton to add, but that was cool to see. Rare to see 3 blimps, or rather semi-rigids, all at once like this. And H2 Clipper in April proposed Swarm Robotics to help construct the giant hydrogen-carrying airships they plan. I won't touch on this too much as it's kind of complex and all, but their idea is robotic swarms helping to build these giant airships, apparently powered by AI, although I'm kind of skeptical about how/if they really intend to integrate AI into this. Not a big fan of AI, but oh well, still interested in the project, even if when you look at the specs, the Clipper seems to be literally pushing airship technology to its absolute limits. So I'm not sure. What do you think? But yeah, that's about it for now. Still, a lot has happened. Hopefully you found something interesting in this video, I'm not sure. Overall, for me and a lot of people, this year has been kind of exhausting and sucked in a lot of ways, to be honest. I mean, if you look at the news, sometimes optimism is hard. I don't even know how some of this is real, what's happening. But I guess this video proves that some people are trying. Some. Or I don't know, maybe all of their plans will fall through or are just scams or whatever. But it's still fun to talk about and all, and hey, even if society collapses and we have to live in a post-apocalyptic hellscape within a couple of years, airships will still come in handy in that case. Turns out there's just a lot you can do with something as simple as a balloon. Anyways, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it all. As always, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and dislike and unsubscribe if you didn't. I'm not in it for the money, I don't care. In any case, I'd love to hear your comments, but yeah, that's about it. See ya!